I'm already seeing all the Cooper flag tweets.
Time for an afternoon beer here, Zion.
Yeah, man. I thought we weren't gonna go live today, man. I was like very confident. I was like, yo.
Yeah, we'll address a lot of the comments.
I was like, yo.
I don't know how much there is to say. It just the same old, but we'll talk about it. We'll address a lot of the comments.
I was like, yo.
I don't know how much there is to say.
Okay, I'm having some issues here. Hold on.
I'm getting bad echo, Zion.
Yeah, you're getting bad echo. Okay.
We'll talk about it. We'll address a lot of the comments. I was like, yo. I don't know how much there is to say.
Okay, I'm having some issues here. Hold on.
Getting bad echo.
Second echo? You're getting bad echo. Okay.
We'll talk about it. We'll address a lot of the I was like, yo.
Is that coming from you, Russ?
Is what coming from me?
The echo?
No, it's I don't know what's going on, but I'm hearing my own voice, but I'm hearing it on like a 10-second lag.
Just make sure you X out everything.
Is what coming from me? All right, let me try it.
Because I X'd out everything. Man, we got a lot to talk about, man. Oh man, I see the comments are flooding in. They are flooding in. We'll jump in. Just wait for us to hop back in with us. But man, we see it. We kind of touched on all these issues. Oh, you can't hear me. Okay, hold on.
All right, we're back.
Can you hear me, Russ?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There's someone saying that. All right, we're having some technical difficulty.
No, dude, it was. I had the YouTube running in the background. That was my fault.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
It was playing the stream on a lag as we were trying to talk.
Because but someone commented they couldn't hear me. So okay, y'all can hear me. Okay, we good. Okay, we good. Let me get this on the.
Yeah, let's play those opening credits and get started.
Give us 2 seconds. Ryan may pop in today. He's a little busy, but he may pop in. We got a lot to talk about, unfortunately, on a Saturday afternoon. But yeah, let's play the intro. Let's get started.
We're trying not to score and everything. We've got about 30 threes or something.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of felt that. We kind of feed off that energy.
This place is amazing. Like I really love Duke, and I love the atmosphere I'm in here.
Mark Williams, beast mode. Paolo first half, he had the cramping stuff. Fair enough. Beast mode.
Yeah. No beast mode. No beast mode.
Oh, for sure, no beast mode for nobody. No. Oh man.
Lust mode.
Oh man.
Lust
and you know
mode,
what the crazy part is? Number one, shout out to the Field of 68. Another episode of the Crazy Cast, another episode after another L. The crazy thing is, no pun intended, I was listening to our first episode today, season preview, and I started off the podcast with, this is going to be a very special season. I'm very excited. Oh, this is special indeed. This is a special start right now. Man. Give us your first thoughts, Russ, on this debacle.
Yeah. It'd be one thing if it was just our usual, the freshmen aren't playing well. It's it's early road game stuff. I think if it was that, it'd be a lot easier to swallow, right? If we were just missing shots for instance, right? Like we're missing shots, but like we're missing like good shots. Then we'd go, okay, shit happens. Young team, missing shots. But I mean, I posted a video that a lot of people have retweeted. So clearly the people who were really mad at me when I insinuated that there were coaching things going on here, coaching issues, when I insinuated that last time and people got mad at me, I don't think those people are mad at me anymore. Like if you watch the game, and I tweeted out, while you're watching the game, watch the players that don't have the ball. Watch the guy who's not setting the screen and the guy without the ball. Like watch them throughout go back if you can stomach it, go back and watch this game. The 3 players without the ball. They don't move. They don't move. They do like the YMCA move, right? You know how like when you're playing at the Y and you don't have the ball, you're just kind of like you're shifting side to side, right? You're just trying to like do like little micro spacing adjustments, right? That's all we're doing. We're not running any sort of screens away from the ball with any sort of regularity at all. People are getting worried about the defense. I'm going to hold that thought for a minute. There are defensive issues too, but if we were playing coherent offense, like we're scoring 68 points a game here without our point guard on an offense that does not run anything. Like if we ran anything or if we tried some other things, then we're scoring like 80 points a game. And I think we win this game. I think we're probably fine, even with the defense kind of mediocre. I think we could be okay, but you can't have mediocre defense and not run anything offensively. And like maybe they are running things offensively, but it's not clear. It's like normally when watching a game, like I pointed out that last alley-oop that Georgia Tech did, you can see they set a screen behind Flip, right? So everyone was like, oh, we're not protecting the rim. Well, that's because Flip was going to defend that guy, and Georgia Tech had called so somebody away from the ball, novel concept, set a screen on Flip so that he couldn't go anywhere. Now, somebody said on Twitter, I don't know if it was Caleb's man, but somebody said Caleb's got to call out that screen or do something, right? But that's a great example of if you like a normal person can see when things are happening away from the ball on offense and when people are just standing around. And so many people in my comments, in my mentions, were saying, yeah, we're just standing around. It's undeniable at this point. We're dribbling into traffic. It's just dribble into traffic, kick it out, have the next guy dribble into traffic, kick it out, have the next guy dribble into traffic, kick it out. That's the whole offense. And it's exhausting to watch. It's not fun. I've seen a bunch of people in here talking about, oh, we can't defend the rim or like this or that. I don't think that's nearly our issue and like at all. I kind of think that for the most part today, defending the rim wasn't the issue. Defending the perimeter was the issue. Defending dribble drives that then result in like mid-ranges that are open, that was an issue. There were a few things that were open at the rim. It wasn't that bad. The perimeter was the real issue on defense. And the last thing that I'm going to say, they talked about it on the broadcast. I don't see it on what's on the screen. Oh, fast break points. I mean, we had 12 turnovers for Georgia Tech. Yeah, I mean, most of our points right now are coming off of either fast break or second chance, right? So what, that's 23, 25 points, something like that. Almost a third of our points, or more than a third of our points, probably. Fast break or second chance, coming off of blown up stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Because in the half court, we're not running things, but we are more talented than the opponent. So our best chance at scoring is blowing shit up that they have, or getting, a loose ball and putting it back up. We really need to focus on that going forward, in my opinion, especially if we don't have Tyrese. We're not going to run a half-court offense without Tyrese Proctor. I mean, there's just no way. If we try to lose again, we might lose to Charlotte next week. Like we'll lose bad games.
Calm down.
We'll lose bad games if
we're not we're not gonna lose to Charlotte, but
You say that, dude. You say that.
Calm down. Like we're not gonna lose to Charlotte.
You
But
say
I
that,
do-
dude. If we run no half court
I-
offense like this, and we
we're not
don't
gonna lose
pressure
to
the ball
Charlotte.
on defense,
We're not gonna lose to Charlotte, bro.
I'm not saying we will. I'm saying
agree.
we can.
I agree with everything you're saying, but we're not gonna lose to Charlotte. Like
We can.
let's-
I'm not saying we
let's be
will.
real.
We can.
Yeah, but I do agree to the point that we have one of the worst. I tweeted during the game. We have one of the worst half court offenses in America, and like I saw someone trying to combat that on Twitter, but like it's kind of like Russ said, you just watch the offense the entire game. There's no movement. Most of the plays are resulting in one-on-ones, and we don't. The thing is, if this team had people who could score one-on-one at will, I'd understand it. If we had a Paolo, if we had a Bagley, if we had all those guys, and every play is resulting in a one-on-one, that makes sense because they are too good for anybody to stop them. Flip is a great player. I think Flip is going to be in the conversation for an All-American, but he's not that type of player to get you a bucket anytime he wants. He doesn't have enough, I think, in his rep. I won't even say he has enough in his repertoire. He doesn't finish as well to do that every play. But even in that same vein, I think it's just an issue with lack of adjusting. I think we saw at the end of the game. I'll say our best offense we ran all year was at the end of the game. We're running that side pick and roll with Flip and Roach. It worked 2 times in a row. Georgia Tech adjusted very fast.
Yeah.
And they cut off the roll to Flip, and it forced us to give Mark the ball at the top of the key. I know people were blaming Mark for that, but like we didn't have a secondary action after they cut off the roll to Flip, so we just gave the ball to Mark at the top of the key, and it resulted in what it was. Then we ran the play again, and they cut it off again, and we didn't have anything for a secondary action. So I do think that is on coaching and not right. But like, yeah, Shire, you said it. You said it earlier on text, bro. The Duke people may not be happy with us, man, because we have to talk about John Shire, man.
It has to be talked about.
We have to talk about John Shire, man. Like, I get it. He's a young coach. He's a young coach, great recruiter. He needs time to develop, and he needs time to I guess learn the ins and outs of college basketball as a head coach. But it's just simple mistakes. The rotations are bad. Like
this was Damon Stoudemire's first ACC game. You know what I mean?
Man.
Like he coached at Pacific before this. I don't. And he's a good coach, but let's be clear. That's not a slight at Stoudemire. It's more I just can't have any excuses for Shire's age when you're Duke. We talked about this last time. There's people will bring up like, well, Coach K was bad for several years and then he became Coach K. Different world now. Different world. He doesn't get several years to disappoint. Like if he disappoints through this year and then next year, especially with Cooper Flagg, then he's gone. Like I can't imagine that he would stay. Which sucks. Like, let's also be clear. I'm rooting so hard for John Shire. I love him as a dude. I think he's an awesome guy. I think he's a good, stand-up example of, what we want a coach to be, certainly off the floor. I loved him as a player. I went to school with John Shire. This is nothing against the man as a man, and it's nothing against his potential as a coach. We saw last year, he turned some things around and did some interesting things towards the end of last season that were good coaching, so I don't think it's like he is a complete lost cause, but Duke doesn't have room to wait around and see. Like, we don't have the time, not when you can immediately go out and get any coach. Like any coach can be here. Any coach could be here. So that means when that's the situation, you've got to win games like this. And more important than winning games like this, you have to show stuff to the fans. Like, you have to show things that give the fans confidence. Like, it'd be one thing if we played pretty well. Georgia Tech just made their threes. They beat us at the end. C'est la vie. That shit happens. That happens every year, you know. But
we got Ryan in the car.
We got Ryan in the car with the shades on, looking like he just got back from a hunting expedition.
No. I'm waiting for my wife. She's inside getting ready. It's my toddler and I hanging out in the car. You guys keep talking though. I don't need to give my thoughts right away.
All right. Yeah.
You might as well, dude. I've been.
Yeah, go off.
I've been ranting and raving, dude. You jump in.
Am I cutting Russ off of his 15
minutes?
No.
We've been just. I'm just a little. I'm a little upset. People understand. I'm a little upset. So Ryan, you jump in.
Yeah, man. It's just disappointing. Like, I feel like we've been calling out for stuff this whole week, and I'm not saying John's like looking at Twitter and stuff, but if it's obvious to us fans and people who really truly care about the team, you'd think like a staff full of guys who've been playing basketball their whole life would be able to see that the offense standing around the 3-point line isn't going to do it. Like, that's not going to cut it. We scored our best game of offense was 75 points against a Power 5 team. I mean, like, points aren't being scored. We let their center go off for like a career high 20-some points, 9 of 11 shooting. Like, there's just no answer there. There's no adjustments. Mark Mitchell has absolutely digressed from last season. Last year it used to be automatic when he was driving the lane. He'd get a bucket almost every time. This year it's like wondering where the ball is going to end up basically at this point. It's just very sad to see. Road games in the ACC are tough. It's just like the lack of effort and the lack of emotion out there seems to be a thing that I'm really concerned with at this point. There's no vocal leader. That's been even said by reporters, not even just fans. Reporters are acknowledging the fact that there's no vocal leader on the floor this year. And it's showing, man. I'm concerned going forward. I have lost a little bit of faith in Shire and a little bit of the staff as well. It's concerning, man. I don't know what else to say. I love this team. I hate being so negative, but it's just like, this is not fun to watch. It hasn't been good basketball really these last 2 seasons, and something's got to change, man.
Wait, Zion, put back up the comment from Anthony that said, I think putting Shire in the hot seat is a bit premature. He's had a bad stretch. Doesn't make him a bad coach. I'm not saying he's. It was a few back. It was before the free throws have been really bad comment that you just had up. Look, I'm not saying that he is doomed to forever be a bad coach. But like, when you're watching on TV and you don't know what it is the team is even trying to do, that's not on the players. That is on the coach. Like, just straight up. Part of what it means to be the coach is that you have to wear a lot of the responsibility when it comes to stuff like that. And so even if he's a good coach, if he's losing games like this in fashion that is not good, then the leash will not be long. Like, it can't be in the year of our Lord 2023 going into 2024. It just can't be. You know?
I just think
it doesn't mean he's a bad coach. Like, if the results are bad, that's that. That's that.
Yeah. I just think at some point we can't play and I've been kind of tweeting it, we can't play they're going to figure it out later. This is a veteran team, man. You're returning 4 or 5 starters. Ryan Young is back. Jalen Blakes is back. This team has played a lot of games in terms of what we usually have. We've seen Duke teams younger than this. Maybe they have a little more talent, not as deep, dominate early in the season. We've seen teams. Yeah. We've been tired of winning games early in the season because people think we peak early in the season. Now it's a point where you have a veteran team coming back and you're struggling, and we're losing games we should win. I know Tyrese got hurt today. We didn't even touch on Tyrese. We're going to touch on that later. Tyrese got hurt today. We understand that. You shouldn't need Tyrese Proctor to beat Georgia Tech. I'm sorry. Not this team. No, we have enough talent. We have enough guard depth where we should be able to recover, but we don't have a system. So when we put these guys out there, when Caleb becomes the main ball handler, it's not like we're fitting him into a system. It's not like we're fitting him into consistent sets. That's why we struggle on offense, because there's no system. It's just freelance. So like, when you have that problem, like your talent, we're basically holding back our talent. We have 5-star talent. Don't get me started on Sean Stewart, because I could go off on Sean Stewart not getting minutes. I know people say, "Oh, he's too young," or he's making dumb plays. Like, no, he has a skill that we need on the floor, and we're not playing him. But it's just like we're neutralizing our talent because we're not maximizing their skills. Like everything we do offensively is just I don't even know it's just mush. It's just mush.
That dude for Georgia Tech, Ndongo, right? This is his his third game of the season. You know what I mean? Like, he's immediately like, Ryan, mute your siren, dude.
That's me. That's New York City.
That's you? They're coming for you, dude.
Relax.
They found you.
As talked about the fact that we didn't press at all today, and we forced turnovers in the half court quite often, it seemed like, but we didn't do any pressing at all after it worked so well against Arkansas in the last few minutes. Like, we didn't even try to apply a press.
Anyway, where I was going before the sirens distracted me is that guy Ndongo. It's his third game at Georgia Tech. His third game playing college basketball, to my understanding. I'm pretty sure he was class of 2023. But he's being put in a position to do some interesting things. I just don't understand what the alternative is here. What benefit we get from not trying Stewart. And, the guy also, there was the guy who said, how are you able to talk about coaching? Because I'm not a coach. I haven't played college basketball or whatever. Dude, look, if I look at a chair and it's got only 2 legs, I don't need to be a carpenter to understand, dude. It's not working. It's not working. What is it? And also, by the way, yes, he won the ACC title last year, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. Again, I said repeatedly so far on this show, maybe you weren't on yet, or maybe you were on mute when it happened, right? Like, he made adjustments last year. He did good coaching. He won as a result, right? But coaching, especially when you're at one of the best jobs on the entire planet in college basketball, it's a what have you done for me lately job, unless you have Final Fours, unless you have titles. Like, he's not Chris Collins. We don't get 4 years to see what he can do. He doesn't have that runway. He just doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, also, if you think that the offense is great and looks well coached, then I'm happy to hear explanation. Genuinely, I'm happy to learn. I'm happy to learn, but we've been talking to people, Zion, that definitely did play organized basketball, who are not sure what is being run at times, that know that the talent is not being optimized in terms of running set plays, in terms of running off ball action, in terms of having players moving without the effing ball on offense.
Yeah, I mean, even piggybacking off that, that's why I tweeted that tweet the other day of the clip with Andre Dawkins. I did talk to Andre, and a lot of people are killing McCain for missing shots. I get it. There's shots he shouldn't hit, but as a shooter, you need to be in rhythm. As a shooter, you can't just be standing on the perimeter all game, or you're being used as a facilitator, and you're expected to hit every shot. It's not. We're not helping him get in rhythm. We're not maximizing his ability to shoot. We're not running him
JJ
off
didn't
screen.
shoot those. JJ didn't do all that shit when he was at Duke by just being handed the ball and being asked go do things.
Yeah, go do something.
That never happened. Never. That was not the answer. They ran plays. Perish the thought. So, like, again, I know it's easy to be down right now. This can easily be changed, right? This can easily be fixed. Like, this is not something, the talent is there, and that's a huge part of it, right? The talent is there. It's not playing especially well right now. Talent is there. If Shire can adjust like he did last year when things were going badly, then things can happen, right? Things
but
can
that's
be
my
good.
thing. That's my thing. Why are we even needing to adjust? I get last season. You tell me that last season, it's a new crop, new group of freshmen. Only one returning guy that's significant playing time.
Yeah.
Derek Lively was hurt a lot of the offseason. Dariq Whitehead was hurt a lot of offseason. So you're coming in and you're not fully accustomed to what's going on, and then you have to adjust on the fly because you didn't have much time with these guys. We had a full season. We had a full season with a lot of these guys. You had a full off season. Even the guys that were hurt, Flip, Mark, they've been in the system. So you should not. I'm not saying off the bat you're gonna be clicking.
No, but there should be
some sentence. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there should be a coherent offense in place. Yeah, absolutely. Tristan Newton was at UConn wasn't last year his first season at UConn? Wasn't he at East Carolina before that? Right? Yeah. His first season at UConn, right? And then this year they bring back him and Klingon, but Klingon's been hurt. And then Alex, don't remember his last name, right? So they bring back a couple of guys from a team that did very well last year, but they have a lot of new pieces. Right? They got freshmen, they got transfers. That offense hums, man. You watch that offense and you can tell it hums. When look at Kentucky's offense right now. I know I keep naming teams that Duke fans don't want to hear, but watch Kentucky's offense right now. The ball moves. It's around the perimeter. It works, right? Even Kansas. Kansas.
I thought you were talking about UConn.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I moved on to Kentucky, and even Kansas, right? The struggles that they have had, right, shooting the ball. Still, you watch those last few games. They win games. You can tell what their identity is on defense. You can tell what their identity is on offense for all of the teams that I just named. What's our identity on offense? What's our identity on defense at Duke? Our identity on offense is dribble into traffic, which it has been for a while, right? That's not even just a Shire problem. You can go back a few years on that. It's just dribble into the paint, kick out, dribble, paint, kick out. The next guy dribbles into the paint, kicks it out. Horn set occasionally, some nice out of bounds actions. But when the ball is live, I mean, again, unless I'm wildly missing out on some things, I'm happy to learn if I'm wrong. But I watch a lot of basketball. I might not have been born I might have been born yesterday, but I stayed up all night. You know what I mean? It's fine.
Yeah, it's like I was watching UConn yesterday and I was just envious. They were missing one of their scorers. Another one of their players who was hurt yesterday. Was it Newton that was playing hurt? Someone was playing hurt.
I mean, Klingon's definitely not 100%.
Klingon's not but their offense. There was just the movements, the backdoor cuts. I was man, they don't have. UConn's a good team. They don't have as much talent as us. Nowhere near as much talent as us. They might be experienced because they're a championship team, but the talent gap, there's a talent gap.
They might have more NBA talent than us. They might have more NBA talent than us.
I don't know about because Klingon is their best NBA prospect, and I think he's an overhyped NBA prospect in my eyes.
I'm not gonna wildly disagree, but I'm saying there's a conversation there to be had. Is my point.
Fair,
but
fair.
Yeah, regardless, there was just a comment that just happened. Where was it that I saw? Oh, somebody said can you guys address why there's traffic? Sure. Easy to address why there's traffic. Because the shooters are just standing around, right? The shooters are standing. And a lot of the shooters also aren't making shots. They're not being put into advantageous positions to take threes a lot of the time, as Zion was talking about earlier. So we're not getting good looks from three. Furthermore, I've seen some people bring up the 5-out offense. If Mark's not making threes and Flip's not making threes, we can't play a 5-out offense. It just doesn't work. Because if you have two players that the other team is not going to defend on the perimeter, then anybody who's trying to get inside is playing there's three defenders in there instead of just their one defender. So if we're not going to, so then the question becomes, well, what do we do? If we can't play 5 shooters, then what do we do? Well, then we run offense, right? Then we have plays. The people move without the ball. There are screens without the ball. There are pin downs. There are actions for shooters like Zion was talking about earlier. Or if we don't want to do any of that, then we can muck it up, right? Then on the defensive action, on the defensive side of things, we can try and turn the ball over. We can try and get transition baskets. I can't believe we only scored, what did we, how many transition points did we get? Like 6, 8? Like none. And they were
fast break
coughing up
points,
the ball.
5.
They were coughing up the ball.
Yeah.
We weren't capitalizing. You have
That
to.
That might have been all in the first half.
Huh?
Hold on. Okay, no. Actually, we had 6 fast break points.
Yeah, that's insane to me. On a game when they turn the ball over at least a dozen times, for us to only have 6 fast break points is bonkers to me. Especially when we saw how effective it was against Arkansas. That stretch where we started to make a run back was predicated largely upon Georgia Tech turnovers and us running. You know?
Yeah.
But like, so we can do that. That can also be an identity. Pressure defense, transition offense. It won't be pretty, but we'll win games. We have so many options. Again, when you have the talent, you have so many options.
Yeah.
But like,
I even say like that. I don't know if it's a Shire thing. I don't know if it's the guys aren't just adjusting. But like there was a moment, and people could think, "Oh, I'm a Sean Stewart." What's the word?
Stan?
I don't even know. Stan, yeah, Stan. But no, like it was when they had that weird camera. Number one, CW, never again.
Whack.
Please,
Washed.
no more games.
Washed.
That is the worst production. I've seen high school productions better than that.
That shit
But
looked like a
that's
Blondie
beside the
music
point.
video. You know what I mean? That shit looked like some. That shit looked like some 1970s porn. You know what I mean? It was like,
But one of the camera angles they had when they were foolishly doing like the above camera angles showed me, it was brief because they didn't show the defensive possession, but I saw Sean Stewart just streaking down the middle of the floor and no one passed him the ball.
Yeah.
Like I was like, we have the formula to just run. Like, we don't need to play half court offense to score. We just run. But we're just so caught up in playing slow and slowing it down, getting into our sets, which we don't have sets that work. Like, I just don't get it. Like, we've been saying this since preseason. Like, this team needs to run. They're built to run. Maybe not if you start Ryan Young, but still, they're still built to run.
but you know what?
Like,
at least Ryan, like, he hauls his ass up and down the floor. Like he tries when he's out there. You know what I mean? Like he's given effort. I have never once questioned his effort at all.
yeah.
But yeah, we're hearing some. It's only December, bro. That's true, but it's not about.
No, Paul is trolling me. He's trolling.
Okay.
He's trolling me because.
But people are saying that. People are saying it. People say that. But it's not about when we lose. It's how we lose. You know, and then obviously losing all of this and losing Tyrese Proctor, presumably for some time, is really a kick in the nuts. I mean, that's really bad. He's the only one when we run pick and roll. He's the only one who looks for the roller. He's the only guy consistently looking for the roller on pick and roll action.
Although Rose did that at the end of the game for sure.
Maybe not those last 2 possessions, but yeah, he's not consistent about it. He's looking to score, which I don't blame. He's a scoring guard. He's not a point guard. He's a scoring guard. So like, I don't blame him for that. Like, you need a point guard distributing out there, and like, we have a pretty wide sample at this point that suggests that Roach is far most effective as a scoring guard. Great, you know. But man, we're gonna need some serious magic from him going forward. Roach, or I thought Foster acquitted himself fairly well for stretches of the game. I know defensively, again, he's got some stuff. He's young, right? Still figuring it out. But Foster acquitted himself all right on that front. But man, if it's just in my mind, in terms of distribution from the point guard position, going from Proctor as your main guy and then Foster as your backup with Roach as a scoring guard to Roach as your starting point guard and Foster as your backup, there's a gulf of difference there in terms of distribution.
There is, but at the same time, we do got to find out what happened with Proctor. If anybody has it, any Shire updates, I try to look for Twitter. Let me know.
They said he was
But
on.
at the same
Somebody
time,
told me he was on crutches at the half, right? Like that he had to come back out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but that's normal Duke protocol for the most part. If you have I don't want to like guess or anything, but like they'll have him in the boot.
It looked bad.
Yeah, it looked bad. I'm not gonna play doctor because last time.
No, I'm not saying he's going to be gone till February or anything, but like I think Duke can't afford to drop dumb games in the next couple of weeks. And when you don't have Proctor, it opens the door. It opens the door.
But I will say I see it on Twitter right now. People saying, "Oh, we lost this game because we lost Proctor." No. I will continue. I will continue hard. Like we have too much guard depth. Proctor is our X factor for sure of being a national championship team, but we have too much guard depth to completely just lose it without Proctor.
Steven,
like,
I literally just praised that Jeremy Roach was the best player in the game. He's a very valuable shooting guard for us. I don't know what people want. Like there's a history that suggests that Roach is better as a scoring guard than a point guard. I don't think that's a wild and crazy thing for me to say. Like we have years.
That's a great.
We have years of that.
I
mean, Steven's having fun. I get it, but like, Roach has been.
I don't think
one of the most.
Roach has been good, man.
He's been the only consistent offensive player we've had all season, maybe. Outside of Flip. He's the only consistent guy in terms of scoring the basketball. I'll say because Proctor
had 8 rebounds today.
Proctor is still better in terms of the amount of points that he creates, generally speaking. But Roach's shooting is invaluable to the team. But once you make him somebody who has to be looking to get other people involved, he's just not he's not that guy. He's not quite as good at that. Like he's not as good. I won't say.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's not as good as Proctor. I don't think he's incapable of it. I think he could do it, but we prefer him to be attacking at all points. A kind of playing that we always label him as playing in a Quinn Cook role, but that's the kind of role we do need to play him in terms of scoring first, being the secondary ball handler, and making the right pass when he has to. But I mean, we can't critique Roach, man. Back to back 20-point games. Yeah, back to back 20-point games. He's doing what he has to. Of all guys on the team right now, he's doing what he has to. I can't really say the same for anybody else, really. There's just a lot of inconsistency from top to bottom.
Yeah.
But Roach has been pretty good of late.
I don't fault him either for those dribbles into traffic at the end. I mean, yes, they were both really bad. Like they were just bad. But again, like there's got to be something from the sideline for a player to do other than give the ball to Roach and ask him to dribble into traffic. But
that goes back to that play. Those last 2 plays were designed to give the ball to Flip on the roll, like that they've been doing. That's been working, and Georgia Tech cut it off. So once they cut it off, Jeremy dribbled into no man's land.
Yeah, but the secondary action should not be dribble into traffic. Absolutely.
Yeah, but there is no second. I don't think there is a secondary action.
There could be.
There could be. I don't think there was a secondary action.
No, I agree with that. I agree that the secondary action is give the ball to Roach and let's see what he does. But also Roach, as you've said before, is like 6 feet tall. Like there's just why would we give him the ball there and say win us the game? Like that position in the court with everybody crowded around because they know exactly what Duke wants to do. It's putting Roach in a bad position. Also,
it is
not his fault. But
I'm putting that on Shire more than Roach. I think Roach has hit too many big shots in his career that you're gonna trust him to make the right play. We didn't have a secondary action, and I think Shire was gonna rely on the fact Roach has hit so many big shots. So make a play. But I mean, when you have the defense keyed in on you like that as a small guy, there's not much you can do.
And credit to the scouting report too. Like on that first one, Roach clearly wanted to take a 3 or a mid-range like 2 because that's more his bag is the jump shots. And Georgia Tech was all over him there. And so then that didn't leave him a choice other than, well, let me try and get around this guy. Let me try and get inside a little more. But like Roach at the rim, he has not scored efficiently from there his entire career at Duke because he's small. It's not his fault. But like mid-range jump shots, 3-pointers, if he's taking that, great. Credit again to Stoudemire, who must have said to his guy, hey, if Roach catches the ball, make him drive because he's not going to want to do that. He's going to want to shoot it.
Oh, we do got to talk about the Tech, no?
Bad on Mark, for the record. Like, I think, like, I agree in general that they shouldn't be calling taunting like Techs like across the board because taunting is fun. Taunting is great. I love taunting. But when you dunk the ball, I think, Zion, you were the one who tweeted, like, clearly Mark was just, like, exercising some demons out there a little bit in that moment because it's been a rough few weeks for him. But, like, you cannot, after a dunk, point at the guy you just dunked on, full arm extension, and scream at him. That's a technical foul 10 times out of 10. Every single time that's a technical foul. Like, if you point at the crowd, that's one thing, right? If you point up to God or whatever, you can point wherever you want. But the one place you definitely cannot point at is in the face of the guy you just dunked on. Like, technical foul. And it immediately undid those 2 dunks, like in one fell swoop.
Yeah. It's tough for me because, like, I get it. I get it. The competitive aspect, the passion. I'm not fully mad at it. You can't do it. I understand you can't do it, but I'm not fully mad at it because I know it was just full out emotion. Like, this guy has been struggling. He's probably been seeing all y'all tweets. He's probably been, he just got benched. So, those were 2 moments that, were just like a kind of letting out his frustration. And I understand, people want to say, that's so dumb of him, but like, you got to put yourself in his shoes. Like,
it's hard.
The competitive aspect is hard to hold back emotion, especially because you're giving Duke the lead too. In that moment when we've been struggling as well.
Yeah, we also can't, like, I mean, you can blame Mark in the sense of, like, he definitely knows better, but also, like, we never should have been at that point in the game anyway. Like, Duke should have been, generally speaking, when Duke players are getting in trouble for showing emotion or screaming or whatever, I'm way more inclined to give it a pass. Just really unfortunate timing. But again, like, there's no reason for us to be in such a close game against a team that has not been very good all year. Like, if we're up 12 in that point, then you can scream in his face all you want. That's it. Get the tech. I don't care. Then celebrate. That's fine. But when you're up 4 with under 2 minutes left in a game that you absolutely cannot lose if you want to win an ACC title this year.
Hold on, I got these sirens coming.
Yeah, you can mute it for a second. Yeah, but like, Anthony, I know what you're saying. These guys aren't robots. I get it. But like, refs call it 10 times out of 10. Like, that is true. You know what I mean? Like, refs always call it. Like, and you can let the emotion out. You can scream. You can 100% scream. Players are screaming all the time. You can't scream and point at the dude. Yeah, right. You can't point at the dude. Like, you definitely know better than that. I'm sure that at some point that player probably like said some shit to Mark, and he was just like, he was feeling himself, man. Again, he let it get away from him. Again, I'm not mad at him about it in general because we shouldn't have been in that position in the game. But also, you do know better.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fault him for that, but like, I understand where the tech comes. It's a lame call. It's definitely a lame call.
It's a lame rule.
Yeah, like, as a competitor, I don't think Georgia Tech would have been up in arms if they didn't get a technical foul. I was like, no, you just got dunked on in an emotional game. Like, that's what happens. But that's rest for you. But you still had a chance to win the game. I know people say we lost the game because of it. It ended up being a 4-point play. But I mean, you still had your chances to take the lead the next possession. And and we didn't. But I think I won't blame Mark for that because I if we did win this game, that could be something we point to as this could be the turnaround for Mark Mitchell. But because that was the regression. I think he had 3 dunks this game, three poster type dunks this game, which we kind of been waiting for because he's been kind of soft down low. But
yeah, I want to bring up one thing that I just saw on Twitter that is like making me hold my head a little bit. And I'm not gonna, I'm not trying to like sub tweet anybody in a podcast form or anything. I think there are people who want to assume that anytime something bad happens on the floor, that it's the player's fault and not the coach's fault. Like I've seen several takes that are like, hey man, players, coaches can't go out there and pass the ball. Coaches can't shoot the ball. Coaches can't defend a guy or block a shot. I get that. But also, I mean, like, watch the offense and see how many people are standing around. That's not like, are you telling me that on every possession that the players are overturning what the coach wanted to run and deciding to stand around instead? Like, and also at some point, like if you keep having players not deliver, ultimately, who's that going to come down on? They're not going to fire a player. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to fire a coach. It comes down onto a coach. I'm not saying Shire should get fired. I'm not saying that. Like, but ultimately, the coach is where the buck stops. Always. Every time. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So I get like people wanting to defend Shire, but like also Shire doesn't need your defense. He's going to be a multimillionaire based on just what he's earning this year. And a big reason why he's doing that is so that when people have questions about the offense on social media, he can just wave his hand at them and go, well, that's Twitter. That's podcast people. That's media people. That's whatever. Right. That's why you get paid millions. Russ. That's why you get paid millions of dollars, is to not give a shit what somebody like me says. I would love that job. I credit him entirely for earning the job he has and for winning the ACC title last year. But when the offense looks bad, it's going to come down to the coach. Like it just will. Yeah. This isn't a situation where guys are getting great looks all the time and just missing them. It's just not. It's just not.
Even last year, to be honest, I think we were getting better looks than this year.
Once Lively came on, and more importantly, once Proctor had the ball in his hands. Once Proctor had the ball in his hands instead of Roach. And again, I'm not trying to like say anything, but again, Roach. When you look at what happened to Roach's efficiency also when Proctor started running the point, Roach's shooting skyrocketed, right? Like, he's got a better – my stupid Zoom is doing the thing again. People have different roles. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just – like, I don't mean to like –
this. Mark's players are going to be sitting in the corner next week. I'll tell you right now, there is a 0% chance that you're not going to watch the offense next week against Charlotte, and there's no chance that they're huddling up this week and going, all right, we're going to revamp everything for Charlotte this week. There's no way.
They might throw that. They might use that as a game to maybe try something new. But
why didn't they try it now? Why didn't they try it against Southern Indiana? Why didn't they try it against LaSalle? Why didn't they try it?
I'll say they didn't try it now because it's a road game and
against Southern Indiana, against Bucknell, against LaSalle. Why are we playing that whack Blue Devil Crazy Challenge or whatever it's called if not to like try things?
That's when you're supposed to, I guess, try things. Those games are supposed to be used for, I guess, your testing of any sort. And
we didn't.
We didn't because
not that I could see.
I'm not gonna say I'm not going. And this is the thing too. I'm not gonna get caught up in I guess Shire criticism too much. I don't think he's doing a good job right now. I'll be very honest, but I'll be the first one to admit when he starts doing a good job.
Same, of course.
But I do feel like a lot there's definitely still blame for the players. Like Flip. Like I don't think we really talked about Flip. Flip is very hard to gauge sometimes because sometimes I think not that he's selfish. Sometimes I think he tries to do it on his own too much. Like there was a play this game where Jared McCain was butt naked open and on a wing, and Flip caught the ball that had the ball at the top of the key, and he just said no. It looked like Flip was looking at him. He just said no and tried to force up a shot. He runs into a lot of possessions where he forces shots up. And
you know what I would guess? You know what a guess that is, Zion? Out of just like this is pure speculation. I don't know anything. Because the offense has no spacing, it makes it so much harder for him to get his like any sort of like okay looks inside. And I would imagine at least some of that is him trying to get like something going near the rim. I agree. He should kick it more. He led the team in assists today. I think he is second on the team in assist rate this season. I mean, I think he is a really good passer when he's passing. He definitely forces it sometimes. And I think that when there's no spacing on the floor, it is really, really hard for big men in general to get their shit going.
Yeah, yes, but he's also not the best finisher through contact. That's a big issue for him too, because I mean we've seen teams with less spacing. Well, supposedly supposed to have less spacing. Like we look at the Bagley team, that team didn't really have spacing.
I mean, Hunter Dickinson right now is a good example.
Well, he could shoot though. He has good spacing.
Yeah, but the team can't shoot. The team is not a good shooting team right now.
Oh
yeah. Well, Hunter's made some threes, but like when he's inside, teams know like what the plan is. But and I mean,
I do think his game is a little bit more polished too. So
it is. He's older.
Like you give him the ball, he knows what move to make and score. At will.
Yeah.
I don't think Flip really knows what move to make that he could score at will. A lot of the times he does try to draw contact. I do like that, but it has its problems because he's forcing up bad shots.
Yeah.
And he's not. He can shoot, but he's not a consistent shooter, and he doesn't always take the best shots when he's shooting jumpers.
His jump shot has not been good this year at all. It's been hurting the 5-out offense. I mean, he's got to be under 30% from three, which then means when he's on the floor, teams just want him to shoot. Like they're begging for it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up that he's looking to draw fouls, because I do see a lot of comments of like Flip plays soft. I do not agree with that. I think Flip does play physically in a big way. He is just struggling to finish through contact, but I don't equate that with softness. Like there are players on this team and on teams in years past who seem far more reluctant to play through contact or to bump into bodies. Flip's not that guy.
Yeah.
Is Flip 30% from three including today? Or is that after today? Or is that before today? I thought he was 30% before today. I could be wrong. I don't have it in front.
Well, yeah, he's under 30% regardless, probably. At that point, he's 0 for 3 today. But yeah, it's tough.
That's also true.
He is coming off surgery.
He didn't work on the shot that much this summer, but then that goes back again. I don't want to like keep saying it goes back to coaching, but I really do think everything goes back to coaching. Like for every team, not just Shire, everywhere. Like if you know that Flip and Mark are coming off injury, if you know those jumpers aren't falling, then you have to like put something in place to capitalize on what they can do for you. Like, you can't just keep going. Well, eventually Flip will make these shots. Eventually Mark will make these shots. We got to win now. They need to keep taking the shots, but like you also need to put them in a great position to succeed.
Yeah, and it's just like it's tough because if Flip is not like the All-American player that we kind of expected, a National Player of the Year that we expected, then it limits our ceiling a little bit. And we have to lower expectations for this team because we don't have that dominant force that can get whatever he wants. Hopefully he's, as the season goes on, he can, get into top form and maybe be that. But right now he isn't. So it limits our ceiling. And Tyrese, even when Tyrese was healthy, he's not playing to his peak. So our ceiling right now is disgustingly low.
Well, you can't
And
be
right now,
an All-American. You can't be an All-American scoring as little as Proctor does. I think Flip still.
yeah,
I think Flip's numbers and overall efficiency are still indicative of somebody who should be an All-American. I mean, despite our struggles this year, he's 4th in Ken Palm's Player of the Year standings because
his numbers are good.
he's doing so much on like a very high usage rate too, which is really, really hard to do. But if Duke's not that good, then like he won't be an All-American. Like,
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. 5-time champ. Right now, this team is mirroring what UNC was last year in terms of the hype, in terms of the talent returning, and in terms of the early season falter. I don't think we'll ever get to that point where we're going to be fully out the tournament talk because that's just not Duke. But right now, it's exactly like that, and it's hard for me to say that because a lot of players are not taking the steps that we expected them to take, kind of like last year with UNC. And we're kind of getting stuck where we don't have the rim protection, number one, like USC didn't have last year. We don't have the consistent shooting. We don't have the defense. I think UNC was probably scoring last year still at this point, but I mean, we don't even have that.
Was just awful. I mean,
Yeah,
we're right now. So we fell to 18th in Ken Palm right now. Do you know where we finished last season in Ken Palm?
Where?
18th. So I mean, it's more or less basically saying this team right now projects to be more or less the same as last year's team compared to the field at large. And like whether you think that's fair or not is certainly up for debate. But I definitely don't think at this point, like I'd be interested in seeing where UNC was after their early struggles last year. I mean, they were 24th after their early struggles last year. So like at this point last year. So, I mean, not wildly lower. Really, it's just going to come down to ACC stuff the same way that it did for UNC, right? Like the ACC should be better this year a little. So that should certainly help. But not by much. It's still probably the worst conference of the high major conferences. So
and we're already 0-1.
Yeah, and we're already 0-1. I mean, it's not a great look. Like right now, I wonder where we're projected. Like I would say that us being projected as being like a 6-team, 6-loss, ACC team somewhere in there, 7-loss. That feels about right now. As again, Proctor being a wild card in all of this.
Yeah. But the thing is too, Baylor. That Baylor game is kind of big for us now. It's really big for us. It's going to be at MSG. We don't know if we're going to have Tyrese Proctor at that point,
bro.
But
let's look. Look, I love Duke. I've loved Duke my whole life. Put your mortgage on Baylor, man. Just do it. Like it's
nah. I'll never do that. You crazy,
bro. If we don't have Proctor, then it's lock. It's gonna get gross if we don't have Proctor. It's gonna get
Baylor. Baylor is better than Arkansas for sure. Way better.
Oh my goodness. I mean, Scott Drew, top 5 coach in the NCAA. I mean, Scott Drew is an impeccable coach. One thing that they literally always have is beautifully run offense. Always.
And defense.
Right now they're only shooting 48.7% from 3 right now as a team that's first in a Division I college basketball. I mean, they'll regress eventually, but they always move the ball. They're a top 10 offensive rebounding team like every year. We stink on the glass so far this year. Like
we don't do anything good.
So then why do you think we're going to beat Baylor other than the fact that we're Duke?
Because we are Duke. We are Duke,
dude,
bro. And I do feel like
I got the hat, I got the sweatshirt. I get it. I want it to happen so badly. It could happen. We've beaten Scott Drew before when we had Coach K. It's possible, but there's like what on the court
be the
right
underdog.
now is making you think, yes. Like, who's guarding Jacoby Walter? Nobody.
Maybe Mark.
Who's guarding Jalen Bridges? Nobody.
But the thing is, I think
Also, Mark has not
I
been a
don't
good
know
defender this year.
where I also think we don't have the defensive talent, in my opinion. But like something MSG, man. MSG number one.
I get it.
Number two. I hate to be cliche, but when Duke is the underdog, it looks a little bit different, man. Like when
Definitely gonna be the
when
underdog.
the kids are humbled, when they're everyone's counting against them, that's when they show up the most. So, I'm not going.
Wouldn't it
I'm
be
not going.
great if they could win without being humbled first?
But the thing is, though, in our losses, at the very least, like in our losses, no one has blown us out. I mean, Arkansas, they took it to us. Final score, no one was really like blew us out the gym. Arizona, we were a couple possessions from winning that game. It's a different outlook if we win that game.
I get it.
And Arizona's a top 3 team, in my opinion.
I get it.
And I feel like Michigan State, we were better than them. We let them back into the game, but we were significantly better than them. I do think if we're playing at MSG, if we're playing at Baylor, that's a 20-point loss. But the fact it's a neutral floor, we'll be counted out against. I can't just fully say Baylor's going to win that game, man. I can't do that. I can't do that. If we're talking strictly X's and O's, sure, they're a better team.
We've got Hofstra coming up, dude. Like, we shouldn't, like, God, I feel so bad being the guy who's like the concerned one, because that's normally
I'm concerned. I don't know. I am very much concerned. I'm not going to say we're going to lose to Charlotte.
Top 20 3-point shooting team in the country. They take more threes than anybody else. They move the ball almost better than anybody else. They're going to come to Cameron Indoor Stadium, and if we can't defend the perimeter the way that we have not been defending the perimeter, they're going to go ballistic on us. Like they're going to shoot 40 threes and make 20 of them. Like we should still win that game. But like when you're letting
going a little bit too far, man. Like, it's not like Southern Indiana, we struggled and we eventually pulled it out. But like some of these lower schools, bro, we've took it to them.
Hofstra's a borderline top 100 team. Southern Indiana won.
I'm 15 minutes from Hofstra, man. We're not losing to Hofstra.
I hope not.
We're not. Speedy Claxton, shout out to Speedy Claxton. We're not losing to Hofstra.
He's a good coach.
I just think we're not going to show up for the, especially it's in Cameron, bro. I'm not going to go to that length. I can see them competing.
5 after 10 minutes at versus Dartmouth, up 1 versus LaSalle 10 minutes, down 9 Southern Indiana. Like, we're taking teams for granted, dude. You're right. We shouldn't be struggling against these teams. We shouldn't struggle at all. And those teams are all notably worse than either Charlotte or Hofstra. So if we treat Charlotte or Hofstra like we treated Southern Indiana, like we treated LaSalle, might be scary time. I
just think
Hofstra cover the spread. Stone cold lock. That's happening. I'm not saying Duke's going to lose to Hofstra. Don't get me wrong. But Duke. These are the sorts of teams that Duke struggles against. And if we take them for granted the way we've taken so many teams so far this year for granted, then things can get away from us. That's all I'm saying. Like, they've got to wake up.
I get that, but I think we struggle more against. I wouldn't even say Georgia Tech was physical today, but we struggle against the older physical teams who really just like, our talent just can't out talents.
Yeah,
those smaller schools, our talent will out talent them just regardless. Like, this is just gonna happen. Like, they're not gonna have someone who could guard a 7-foot flip or make struggle or like there's gaps. There's gaps to it. That's why I won't go to the lengths of worrying about those games.
But I'm not saying we should worry about them. I'm saying the team needs to worry about them. The team needs to take every game not for granted. Like, the team needs to show in the first 10 minutes of a game against Charlotte or against Hofstra, like, you can't let these teams just jack up threes against you and then like go, well, we'll catch up. Don't worry about it. Like,
Right.
that's a losing recipe at the end of the day. You know what teams did that?
But-
like
yeah.
2014 Jabari Parker team did that. Right? Like
Yeah.
2012 Austin Rivers team did that a lot. Like the teams that had bad endings to the year that everyone gloats about decades later are the sorts of teams that dicked around with teams that we knew we could beat, because eventually one of those teams we might not be able to do what we always do against. Like you gotta like, and again, I know that like Clark saying Marquette lost. Villanova's got its own issues. Villanova's got maybe some similar issues to Duke in some respects, but like Marquette losing to Wisconsin in a rivalry game doesn't move the needle for me. I don't know who Kentucky's playing right now. UNC Wilmington? Well, that would be interesting, certainly.
Villanova has lost to every team in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and then they beat some good teams like decisively. They beat the shit out of Memphis. I mean, my God. Oh yeah, and UNC. I forgot about that. Yeah. So yeah, man. Again, I'm not trying to like say that the wheels are falling off. They're clearly not. But like, we're at that point where you just need to be watching the wheels. You need to take care of the wheels. You need to not like go over speed bumps at high speed with the wheels that you currently have. Like you just you need to be mindful. You need to not take these teams for granted. You need to run offense. You need to defend the perimeter. You need to stem the tide until whenever Tyrese Proctor gets back. And then try and develop some momentum in ACC play. Yeah, maybe maybe John needs a back surgery. Maybe that's as all the haters always say. So embarrassing.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like
we didn't get CJ drafted, man. CJ was going to get
was
drafted
good already.
regardless.
We did get Joe Alexander drafted.
Yeah.
Now he was probably
we did
drafted
get
too, but like
we got Derek Williams to number 2 for sure.
We got Tyrese Thomas to number 1.
Yeah.
We help teams. There's no question we help teams. Yeah. Yeah, it's just again, I just wish we were losing in a way where we could see the path. And right now we can't see the path. And that's frustrating. And Charlotte and Hofstra's better than Georgia Tech. I know we'll be at home, and that's a big difference. But you just can't. And Charlotte's probably about as good as Georgia Tech. You just can't mess around with these teams, man. Like
we got a sorry quote. We got a quote. It says, I'll read it for the listeners.
The entire game we're fighting and clawing our way back. Yeah, you see how you see how the offense is still not the focus, though. You know what I mean?
For the listeners, it says from the start of the game we gave them life with the threes. We have to do a better job starting off the game. The entire game we're fighting and clawing our way back. I haven't liked the way we've shared the ball, but for me it was the defense. We needed key stuff so we didn't get Yo, he said it's the defense back-to-back games. Back-to-back games, he has said is defense.
I know. I don't like that.
That's crazy to me.
I'm not a huge fan of that. Also, I don't like the notion that the entire game we're fighting and clawing our way back. I mean, like, yeah, we were down 10 early. That's true. But like we were also down almost 10 in the second half. We were down by 8 with 10 minutes left. We made it interesting in the last 8 minutes. Yeah. So, okay. So there's my beef, right? We were down like 12-2, 9 minutes left in 9:20, excuse me. In the second half, we're down 10. So like we weren't really clawing back the whole game. We were clawing back when there were single-digit minutes left on the clock. Like, look, I get. We did need stops. We didn't get them. That's true. I'm glad that he mentioned how we're starting games because we do need to start games better. We do need to share the ball better, but share it to who? The guys who are standing out on the perimeter?
Let's share the ball, but let's not have anybody move on offense.
get it to him, and then he can drive inside, and then you can share it to him, and he can get the ball inside. I just don't know what the path is, man. That's the issue. The defense is also a problem. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like sitting here saying the defense is great or anything, but like, I would imagine also this is probably just gonna like, yeah, we're letting teams share the ball too much. That's my biggest issue. Teams in terms of assists per field goal made, we're like one of the worst 40 teams in the country at that. We're just like letting teams pass the ball very, very freely. And I sort of wonder if that's, again, because we play a relatively conservative defense.
Yeah.
We don't turn teams over. We allow them to move the ball. We play at a very slow pace on defense. On offense, we're actually speeding the pace decently well. We're getting in transition a little more than normal, but man, I don't know. There's a lot of issues.
Ernie B. Proctor, he had a drive. I think he fell. It was the ankle, right? What? No one even.
It was the ankle.
Specified.
I mean, they didn't say it was the ankle, but like you could see on the replay, it like caught like that thing where he lands on the ball of the foot, and then it just goes like that.
Yeah.
It's the exact same sprain that I had at the end of last year, or at least it looked like. I'm sure my foot.
Clip this. If Dr. Russ is wrong, man, clip this, and we'll post it.
I think it's a sprain. I'd be stunned if it's not a sprain.
Oh man, you going out on a limb?
I'm going out on a limb here. I'm going out on a limb.
No pun intended.
I'm saying, hey, nice. I think it's a sprained ankle. And then it just depends how bad the sprain is. But the fact that he wasn't putting any weight on it at all, is suboptimal, man. It just is.
He did come back on the bench though, which is not really if it was like I think more serious injury, I don't think he would be on the bench.
Sure, if it was like Achilles, or if it was some sort of break, maybe, or I mean, maybe it could be some sort of bullshit break like we've had before with Duke. But like, yeah, I don't know what it is, but generally speaking, I don't think it takes like a bold doctor to say if you've been playing basketball your whole life, you see people turn their ankles and the sprains, like a little bit.
Yeah. But we'll see.
Heals is a month. Yeah, I mean, again, Russ MD. God, my parents wish, man. Yeah. Now we're not going to be in the top 25. That's definitely true.
Duke will likely be unranked, but there is a part of me that thinks there's a possibility we end up at 23, 24 because we did lose a couple road games, and to factor in, the NCAA, the people when they voted, the voters do this factor in context where if Tyrese is getting hurt. That's where I feel like they may just
AP voters don't even watch the games, dude.
They don't. They do and they don't. It's a lot of the even with the coaches poll. The coaches poll is like by the SIDs. The coaches don't even vote. I've seen it firsthand. The coaches really don't even vote. But
the AP poll repeatedly has dudes just like they check the scores. If you lose, they move you down. If you win, they move you up. They don't give a they're not especially knowledgeable on the ins and outs of what's happening within the context of these games, the majority of them anyway. John Shire got outcoached by Damon Stoudemire is what it says. I mean, Stoudemire, I think, is a good, relatively young coach. I mean, I thought the job he did at Pacific was pretty impressive. He obviously was on the bench in Boston for a while. There's some really good minds there. So he's been around some smart people. Yeah, man. What is Andre Dawkins up to? Why do they ask? Just to
I don't even know why. That was a random question.
I just wanted to know what's he up to today.
I was like, what? Why don't you go ask him? Go ask him yourself. What's he doing?
The season to address the last comment that's there, and then we could probably like end it, dude. Like the season can be fine. Like I think it can't be emphasized enough. People are going to be so mad that we're like being critical or whatever. There are people mad at my Twitter mentions right now about it. But like none of it is not fixable. The one thing that you can't fix is if you don't have the talent to win games. And we do have that, right? That's always a great starting point. So then it just takes like things going right. It takes putting in a system that matches how that talent is playing. It takes coherent defensive communication and effort. These are things that can come along, but I also don't. I know I saw Monty say that. UConn had some struggles too, and then what happened during those struggles? Right, they didn't know what to do with Andre Jackson because Andre Jackson can't shoot, and teams were clogging the paint. So then, what did Hurley do? He started running an offense that suited the fact that Jackson was not shooting the ball well. And then they never lost again, I think, or they lost like one the entire rest of the way.
Okay, so here's the Andre Dawkins question. College programs need to invest in coaching.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I agree. To tell Shire, man, we hired Justin Robinson this week. You should be hiring.
Also, Shire was a 40+% 3-point shooter for his career. It's not like that guy doesn't know how to shoot threes. Yeah.
But Dre is next level though. Like I was watching a lot of Dre film. I was watching a lot of Dre film this week. I forgot, he was so cold. Like, put that ball in his hands. It goes up. You think it's going in every time.
You won't get an argument from me. But
yeah, man.
Yeah, it takes change. It takes change and it takes adjustment. Or it takes the guys can just make their shots. And if the guys make their shots, that solves a lot of problems, right? Shot making solves everything. But if the shot making isn't happening, then the coach needs to adjust what we're doing in order to rectify and not keep dropping games, because you can't win a title. It is very hard to win a title if you're a 5 seed or lower. Teams, like one team has done it in the past 40 years. It just isn't done because your path is way too hard. So you need a good seed.
This is a crazy question. Let's talk about that when we get there. If we get there, not when we get there. If we get there, well, I don't think we will get there. So,
I agree. But
no, don't do that.
You don't want me to get in trouble?
Nah, don't do all that. Don't do all that, man. That is not a discussion.
No, here's the real answer. I don't want to have to replace Shire. I think the alternatives that are realistic are not for me at all. And so our best case outcome is Shire develops as a coach. He figures these things out. He maximizes he shows greater consistency. The offense comes up. The defense comes up, right? Like, these are things. He's a young coach still. Our best case outcome, if we have a Duke family coach that is currently coaching D1 basketball, is John Shire. I firmly believe that. I cannot be convinced otherwise. So I don't want to consider what the alternatives would be. Just point blank, period. I want my boy to come along and take us to the promised land. That's what I want.
Yeah, let's if that ever comes to fruition where we have to discuss it, we will discuss it. But it's too early for that. Kentucky is losing right now, so shout out to USC Wilmington. We need that.
Shout out Mordecai.
We need that.
He's going to watch the Santa Summit on Hallmark Channel.
Oh wow! Shout out Mordecai for that.
That's a good feel good thing to do after a lousy game, man.
Yeah, we're having a lot of lousy games. And that actually does.
Keep watching Santa Summit. DVR it. Keep watching it. Find out when it's live. Get those ratings higher. Get those Nielsen ratings higher. I
will say, now that y'all talking about it, and now that I see this Dre tweet, we got to get Dre on the show. I'm gonna try to get Dre on the show for our next show. And we'll talk about the shooting problems. We're talking about all that because y'all don't want to hear from me. Y'all just like, someone was arguing me on Twitter about what I tweeted. I was like, I was just talking to one of the greatest shooters to play in the Duke uniform, but y'all will hear from him. We'll try to get him on the show next. When is our next show going to be? Let me see.
Probably the Baylor game, unless bad things happen.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough for me. I'll be there. I might just call in from my phone. Maybe we'll have Dre fill in for me most of the time. But
we could have one of us hosts certainly. Yeah. I I kind of said that people were mad in my mentions about these things. People are surprisingly not mad. I think most people with eyes understand that like things just like need to change. It's not that they're bad forever. It's not that the season is lost. All the pieces are there for good. All the pieces are there to return this season to where it needs to be.
Your benches are better than mine.
Huh?
Your benches are better than mine. I see people giving up already. People are done. Some people say I'm done.
No, I meant people. I meant people mad at me for being critical.
Oh.
Because that's what happened after the Arkansas game. I suggested that maybe Shire needs to hold a bit of the responsibility, and the mentions were not very happy with me on that one.
Yeah.
Oh wow! But maybe 2 losses in a row, and now they're
we got an image. I just saw an image.
What image? Oh God, what image? Do I want to know?
I'm just going through my message. Oh, there we go. This guy, Tyrese Proctor. Is it in a boot too, or no? Oh no, it's a sock.
Zoom in, enhance. It's like CSI, bro.
I'm trying to zoom in. That's all it goes. All right, there's an image of Tyrese Proctor on crutches.
Yeah, man.
Good spirits, at least it looks like, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we got to figure some things out in the next 2 games. Somebody just giving you a loser's gift.
Yeah, I just get all these. I get all these haters. Y'all can get a brief look into
glimpse. This is what happens when you watch on YouTube. Yeah,
mentions here. Coaching malpractice. Yeah, I got a lot of tweets just talking about Shire. Let's go straight to the mentions. What are people saying? Don't tweet at me now just because you see this. It's about time. No identity. Oh, dang. It's funny because we just can't talk smack back. We just can't talk smack back to people at this point, man. They're not a good team right now. So we gotta it's a long season, but no, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Like I'll be catching a lot of strays, man, but it's okay, man. That's what it comes with the territory. But hopefully
I don't think Elliot Cadeau helps Duke, John Kramer. Because we have a guy already who has an elite assisted turnover rate who's a better defender than Cadeau. That's not our issue. The issue has nothing to do with point guard play when Tyrese Proctor is on the floor. It has everything to do with everything else.
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to like throw out something like Harrison Ingram, would he help us the way he's been playing?
Bro, Harrison Ingram is nice.
He's nice, dude. He's nice. He's been playing. He's better than I even thought. Like I knew he was good in high school, but then when he was at Stanford, I was like, oh, like what's going on with this dude? And then he has turned it around right away. I mean,
he definitely helped us. Like,
John, we can't get to the basket because there's no spacing. Cadeau doesn't help with that.
Yeah, it's more of the system rather than the players.
It's the system, man. It's not the point guard.
Yeah, so we got time to figure it out, but we need that Baylor one. We need that Baylor game, man. We need it.
We need to win out the rest of the month.
Yeah,
that's what it takes. We got Charlotte, we got Hofstra, Baylor, and then Queens College.
Yeah,
we got to if we're 4-0, we're in good shape. If we're 3-1,
it's very scary. It's going to get very scary.
No matter how it shakes out on a 3-1, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he said.
Anyway.
Let me check one last mention before we go because Monty is saying check mentions. Okay. Yo, we should absolutely storm the court at MSG if we win that game. That's how we look right now. We are the underdog.
Next year. Duke is never the underdog, they say in my mentions every time somebody brings up that they are factually in Vegas the underdog.
All right. We about
Yeah,
almost an hour 30 in.
we got to get out of
Appreciate
here.
y'all for tuning in on a Saturday evening. We'll be back likely in a couple weeks for Baylor, unless we have some type of show in between there, something happens. But yeah, man, rough start to the season. Hopefully we'll figure out soon. But we appreciate y'all for y'all support always, and we'll be back soon. Peace. Wait, Russ, you didn't want to do any CVB analytics call outs real quick?
Nah, this wasn't because this wasn't going to be one of like the bigger episodes. I was going to wait for the Baylor one to do my next big CBB analytics stat. But I mean, shout out to CBB analytics and shout out to Home Field Apparel also. Just basically, if it has to do with college basketball, type in the code CRAZIE and see if it works.
yeah, and you'll get discounted stuff. So
or
keep
you
on
won't,
doing that.
but that's okay.
Yeah,
either way,
just keep trying. Just type in crazy in all caps. IE.
I'm gonna go see if I can use the code crazy at my local bottle shop to get some beer. You know what I mean? Drown my sorrows after that game.
All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll catch you next